face that this other person is satisfying you. You're screaming in my face that I'm not the person you want me to be. You're screaming in my face that you like it now. Are you crazy?
Hey guys, welcome to our channel. I'm Sugar.
And I'm Spice.
Today we're going to be doing a recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. But before we do that, we just want to say thank you. We reached a milestone 50 subscribers.
Yay! Thank you guys for subscribing.
Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for interacting with us. Shout out to Miami Gardens Now for a comment she made that really stood out to us. We always love interacting with you guys and, you know, all your commentary. We're here for the debate. We're here to talk. I get it. It's a channel, but we're not here to talk to ourselves.
Right.
Talk back to us.
It's a safe place, okay, guys?
We're cool with you disagreeing with us. It's not gonna start a fight. We're just here for debate. We might be like, hey, you know what, you got a point there. We might be wrong.
You never know.
So, comment down below. Maybe your comment will get a shout out next week. Or subscribe to us and you might be subscriber of the week next week and get a shout out. So make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Sugar and Spice 88. Facebook coming very soon.
Very soon for Facebook.
So let's get into it. Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 2, Episode 18. Let's get started.
Okay, so we open the scene with Tisha and Marsau at their home. So Tisha's cooking some bacon. Marsau walks in. Good morning. How you doing? Here's Tisha. Good. Everything's good. I'm always good. Good. And Marsau knows. And honestly, with anybody who's laying it on that thick,
yeah,
you ain't all that good. So then Tisha brings up the girls' day retreat. Even in the way she tells the story, she tells her skewed version where Marsau is able to pick apart the parts that
because he knows
true.
His wife.
Exactly. He's like paying extra close attention to hear all the real detail. So then Tisha starts off and she says, we had a great time at the Brown Girl event. And I thought that we were going to have a great time at the camping retreat. Mel, Kimmi, and I. And it just felt like good times. It felt like how it used to be. So then Tisha says Destiny dumps the conflict on her. So then from there, Tisha tells her side of the story. Mel said that the conflict or the friendship started going down when, we disagreed on how she wasn't picking up the phone, she wasn't available for me, and I wasn't able to get in touch with her, and that's where the friendship started going down. Marsau says, okay, that's right, I'll take that. Tisha says, I call BS on that. And then Marsau is like, I know in his head, the wheels are churning. He's like, okay.
She jacked it up.
Exactly. Here's Tisha. I just think that Mel is a liar. I don't believe anything she says. I don't feel like she's being truthful and honest. Okay, so do you want a relationship with Mel? I did, but now I just don't know. Okay, well, do you want to move forward? I just want to be in the same space and I don't want to have any arguments. Okay. Marsau says, if you don't want to have any arguments, then why are you starting the argument? Well, I just feel like it's impossible to be able to be around somebody who won't own their own stuff. Tisha, you're talking about yourself right now.
I was like, talk to her, Marsau.
Yo, we literally have been saying this for the past how many episodes?
If you go to our last Love and Marriage Huntsville review, we literally said, Tisha, you said Mel doesn't take accountability? That's you, girl. Literally said that.
Exactly. So then at that point, Tisha says, that's not true. And you could see in her brain,
she could not compute
that she's actually speaking about herself right now. And then from that point, Marsau said, These people are going through a divorce. They are literally drowning, and you're pretty much trying to cry about whatever happened how many months ago. Like, this doesn't even make any sense. So then somehow that registers with Tisha, and Tisha says, so do you feel like I should apologize to her for calling her a liar? Marsau says, I mean, at the very least, she deserves a listening ear. So then Tisha goes into her confessional, and Tisha says, you know what? She is going through a lot right now. I may have really misjudged the situation and not taking everything that she's going through into account. And I need to do better going forward. And I was like, oh my God.
I really appreciate Marsau not just being kind of like a blind follower in the situation. Like, because I feel like if it was with Martell, he would have just been over there gassing her up, pumping it up, trying to cause more division.
Right.
And Marsau's actually calling her out, making her accountable for her words and her actions. And I really appreciate that, because that's what she takes his word with so much weight on it, that him doing that is really going to make her have to accept certain things and open her eyes to certain things that she's doing and saying. Exactly. So without him, she would have just carried on and kept going the way she was going.
Absolutely.
So again, Marsau.
Yo, he did the impossible.
I did not like you last season. I really did. I was like, he's misogynistic. I don't like it.
Maybe top two.
Now, like Marsau, you don't.
Maybe my favorite. Maybe one.
You want to go hang out?
All right. So then we go into the next scene where it's Kimmi visiting Mel at her new house. Kimmi says that she wanted to check on Mel because, after the day retreat, she, felt like Mel needed somebody to talk to. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like Kimmi went to check on Mel because she knows what it's like to be on the other end of a Tisha versus me argument, and how frustrating it could be, and how you could really leave that argument really feeling unresolved. She knows that Mel really needed that because she knows what it feels like.
So Mel is talking about how, Tisha is acting like they never had the conversation about them kind of being a little distant prior to their big blowout. And Kimmi says, yes, I remember that conversation, but I wish you would have spoke up.
And Kimmy's like, wait, hold on. Y'all gonna have to pick and choose. First, you don't want me in the middle. Now you do want me in the middle when it's to your defense. Like, pick. She said, Ima was the mediator.
I mean.
Okay.
Let Ima do her job.
Exactly. So then from there also, Kimmi says that she just feels that Mel and Tisha has their own truths, which I really agree with. What your opinion might be of where it started or where it went wrong could be different from her opinion of where it started or went wrong. Because maybe at that point, she said something to offend you, but she didn't feel it was offensive. Or she said something that she thought that she was bringing light to you and your eyes to, but you didn't feel like the delivery was genuine. So it's just a lot of perspective and opinions in it. So at that point, I understand where Kimmi is talking about when she says, you both have your own truths.
Because whenever you're in an argument with someone, or, there's some kind of conflict, everything that they say that offends you, you remember it in crystal clear HD 4K resolution.
Exactly.
But the stuff that you said is, I don't think I said that exactly. And, that's just how it goes. Your memory's a little fuzzy because you're just blurting stuff out. It doesn't hit you, so you don't remember it. When stuff really directly affects you, you remember it word for word. Yep. So that's basically what she means by, they have their own truth, because Mel was offended. Tisha and Marsau were making jokes about their marriage and the infidelity at their anniversary party and all types of stuff. And because they just saw it as, Kiki, we're just making little funny jokes, ha-ha. And because for whatever reason, they didn't think it was that big of a deal or offensive, they don't think that's where the issue started. They think the issue started somewhere else when they were offended. Exactly. Because they remember that because it affected them. So like she said, they both just each have their own different truths. And when they come to realize that, it'll be a lot easier for both of them.
I agree. So then from that point, Mel tells Kimmi, you know, Martell has a baby on the way. She blurts it out. And Kimmi is like, whoa, so it's true. And
Kimmi says, I just told myself that it wasn't true.
And why? Why'd you tell yourself that?
Because he's a good guy.
You think he's a good guy, right?
Girl. And then Mel's like, because he's a good guy? Well, I'm not going to say he's not. Because what did she say? I will
never take what I said in the past.
Say, and you can take new information and make a new judgment.
I just felt like that was very inappropriate to say to somebody.
It was very insensitive.
And that's the word.
Just tell you that my husband is having a baby on me with his side chick of 5 years. And your response is, well, I'm not going to say he's not a good guy.
I'm never going to say he's not a good guy.
I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but I ain't going to say he's a good guy. Could have just said, I'm sorry this is happening.
That part.
But I don't know. Usually Kimmy's on point and she's very neutral and I don't know what that was about. That was a little weird.
Yeah.
And then after that, she proceeds to ask Mel if she's dating. So that last reaction combined with that question is kind of like, where we going? What's going on? Where we going with this?
So you're never going to say he's not a good guy, but you want to know if I'm dating? Girl, mind your business.
At this point.
So then Mel opens up to her and says something as along the lines of, Martell said that he can't wait for her to meet somebody and so that person could hurry up and leave her so she could see what's really out there. And it's just like,
you act like you don't, according to you don't want this marriage. It was dead a long time ago. She never pleased you. She ain't never did nothing right in the whole life. So why do you want her to feel like she misses you or she had something good with you?
Why do you want her to want you back?
Why do you want her to suffer in the name of you being right?
Yo.
Are you okay?
The narcissism.
That's what it is.
So then Mel goes into the confessional and she says, you know, she just feels sorry for Martell. She just feels like he's broken and he is just miserable and he's just finding himself in a place where he doesn't want to be. And he's just going to have to live with that. He's going to have to live with the decisions that he made and the consequences. And yo, I feel sorry for Martell too. I really feel like he's at risk for going into a deep depression. Yeah.
What?
I know that we are all like always talking about how he's a narcissist. He is like horrible, all these things. But I feel like the resistance that he has for this divorce is going to lead him to go into like a spiral downward where he's going to be vulnerable for like clinical issues.
And he thought, well, we have kids together. That's going to hold her here. We have businesses together. That's going to hold her here. We got accounts and money and this and that's going to hold her here. Mm-hmm. And who's going to, I be coming home at night, so that's going to hold her here.
I'm not a deadbeat dad like some of the guys.
Right. Who cares if I'm cheating on the side? He really wanted her to accept that. He literally and said to her, oh, I don't understand. Like, I thought you would understood by now that this is what you have to accept. And it never even occurred to him that this would be the end result. Mm-mm. So him continue, it's like, instead of just like free falling and just being like, dang, I was dead wrong. And just hitting the reset button. And like Marsau said, starting from rock bottom and building everything back up again. He's grasping for straws. He's still trying to grab on the stuff on the way down, trying to keep himself up. And you're wearing yourself down doing that. Like, you are tiring yourself out, reaching, stretching, trying to make her seem like a bad mother, trying to make her seem like a bad person, trying to say that she was cheating. You're just
exhausting yourself,
trying to grab every branch and twig on the way down, and it's not working.
None of it is going to work. That's
so
the part.
You really hit. Oh, you gonna hit.
Whew. All right, so then we go into the next scene where Martell and Maurice are having a conversation. So Martell's in the conversation. He says that he feels like he's in a sunken place. Red flag right there. I'm telling you guys, the depression is about to hit. So then Maurice asks Martell, do you even really want this divorce? And Martell says that he doesn't want the divorce. He is going to miss when Mel was cooking breakfast. She'll call everybody down. They will all sit at the table and eat. They will go to church together and just have all these amazing, great times. And it's really hard for him to grasp that it's really over. Martell goes into the confessional and he says that the divorce doesn't feel real. He doesn't feel like it's actually happening. And he's just in complete denial. So then at that point, Maurice says that when you talk about Mel, you light up. Everything, like, not just the family. When you talk about Mel and the family and the kids, you just light up. Maurice said he didn't have that. He didn't have a business with his wife. The spark was gone for them. So are you really sure that you're done and like you can't, like, the spark is completely gone? Don't stop fighting for your marriage until you feel like the spark is 100% out. Fight for your marriage with grace. And Martell just nods and he acts like, he's absorbing everything, Maurice is saying and
taking it all in.
So then we go into the next scene and we see that Tisha and Marsau are having a taste test for their new cigar lounge. Blaque, yes. So the chef brings them the food. They're starting to taste the food and, they get drinks and the food tastes great, but the presentation is not the best. He uses this opportunity for a teachable moment. He asks the chef, what he thinks that he could do better. And the chef says, like, I'm going to be using the same kind of recipes and things like that for multiple different kinds of food. And Marsau goes and says, what I really need you to do is to focus on the representation. And I also want you to put your heart into this because the community deserves better. The community deserves our hard work. They deserve the best from us. And we really want to try and make a change in this community. And we're going to start with this building, Blaque. That's why I called it Blaque.
He said they deserve, the quality, the same quality as the higher end restaurants without them having to make more money.
Right. Exactly. And Tisha says something about, the chef. And Marsau says, no, I'm not going to get rid of the chef. I just want the chef to do different things. And I was like, yes, like, good job. I appreciated that.
It's not that he's not a good chef.
Right.
He just is.
He
needs direction and where you want this to go.
Exactly.
He gave him that kind of speech, and it kind of, you could tell the chef was kind of like, I feel that.
Yeah.
Now it kind of lit a fire in him a little bit, like, okay, yeah, I want to deliver on that. I'm with that.
Marsau says all of these great things, and I appreciate what he says. I think it was a great message, especially on a large platform to really instill. But the thing about it for me is that he could do and say all these great things about the community, the Black community, and lifting everybody up and pouring back into the community. But when his wife is saying that she just wants to be able to have her own thing, she doesn't feel like she's being fulfilled, she wants to be able to work and still take care of the kids, she wants more support from you at home, it's like you just want her to stop saying that and just be a housewife. But for the Black community, you want to pour into them. You want to
support them,
uplift them. Yes.
And even you're saying, I want to give people who have lower incomes, great quality. Just because they're here doesn't mean that they don't deserve this. And it's like,
but your household is here, and she deserves to be uplifted, supported too. Well, I just wanted to point that out because although I do like Marsau, he is a walking contradiction when it comes to how he sees and treats his wife.
It's interesting. You say like, well, just because they make less, you shouldn't put them in a box and make them be seen this way. But it's like, because she's
your wife,
a woman or your wife, doesn't mean that she should be put in a box either. You
can't
just be like, stay at home, cook, clean, Like, she has her own dreams and ideas too. Why don't you see her as just a person?
That's all I'm saying. So then from that point, Marsau says that he's considering Jaylin to be the general manager for the cigar lounge. And that, he feels like it'll be great for him, his growth and all of that. And Tisha says that, well, don't you think that we need somebody with experience? And Marsau says no. I feel like he will gain experience while he's here. You know, a lot of the things that I didn't have experience in, but I had the willingness to learn. And that was enough for me to grasp everything very quickly and, you know, eventually be who I am today, successful.
Another teachable moment, you know? I really like how they don't say like, oh, Kimmy's son. They're like, this is my nephew.
Yes.
He's family, his one.
My heart.
Even
I
Kimmi
like
was
that.
like, yeah, I love Jaylin. You know, they really make him part of the family. Just like Maurice was like, yeah, this is my son we're talking about.
And but Tisha pushes it again. She says, well, I talked to somebody and she has qualifications. And I'm just like, yo, Tisha, you don't understand how business works. Like, she really doesn't. Just because somebody has a lot of qualifications, that does not mean that they're going to be the best for your restaurant. If anything, because somebody has a lot of qualifications, that means that it's more likely that they're going to want not only a higher salary and starting rate, but they're more likely to go someplace else. Let's say your business is starting off slow. They're more likely to go someplace else and jump ship for the next best thing because they're not invested in your business. There's no ties to your business. And she's not really looking at it from that standpoint. And I just appreciate how Marsau is really saying, like, he is my nephew and I'm going to put him on, because in other communities, all you got to do is be that person's son, cousin, uncle, brother. It doesn't, your qualifications don't matter. You are in there because you belong to me.
Right.
And I just like how Marsau is doing that, because that's how you do it. Just bring him in because he belongs to you. And then from that point, if he gives you a reason to not, you know, then trust him, move forward, whatever, that's different. But no, look him out because he belongs to us. So we're going to take care of him.
It's not like he doesn't have a degree. He just graduated, you know.
So then we continue on and we see that Marsau has brought a chef from a different place to teach his other chef about plating. And Marsau is also sitting down with Jaylin, and he's just talking to him, letting him know how serious it is. And he says, you know, why do you think that I chose you? And Jaylin, he's young and oblivious. And he's like, oh, because you're busy. And then Marsau is like, no, that's not why. It's because I trust you. And he didn't say this, but I feel like he wanted to say, like, because you belong to me. Like, that's why.
You're family. I'm going to take you under the wing. I'm going to show you the ropes. I'm going to put you in a better position.
That's it. You know, and that's enough. And
gotta take care of your own.
Exactly. And then he says that he's even going to give Jaylin part ownership. And it's just like, wow. You know, and Jaylin, I don't think Jaylin even understands or grasps
the magnitude.
It's... Because he says something like, okay, well, I got to wrap this up. I got some other business to take care of. Listen.
Jaylin.
Don't mess this up, Jaylin.
We just went to bat for you.
Okay?
Don't you mess this up.
Don't.
You get it together.
So now we go into the next scene, and Marsau pulls up. He pulls up on Mel. And, you know, he just starts off the conversation with a little, like, you know, light banter. And he's saying, you know, oh, what's going on here? Okay, yeah, we're doing the Melody S. Holtz. I like her voice. She says, we're doing the Melody S. Holtz Incorporated business. And then he goes to say, oh, yeah, keep it that last name. Well, you know, Tina did that too. And she's like, why would I not? I have 4 children. And then it's like, boom. She's right. Keep that last name, girl. So then Marsau says that, you know, he's taking it upon himself to mend things between Tisha and Mel and just try and, like, kind of push this forward because their relationship is at a standstill at this point. And I have mixed feelings about this, but at the same time, I feel as though his heart is in the right place. I just hope that when Mel and Tisha actually come into terms with things, that Tisha is actually ready for it. And in a good place this time, so that she can really receive everything that Mel is saying to her. I'm not confident she will be, though.
I don't think so. I'm not gonna lie. She's not ready. She's not there yet.
Yeah, she's not.
She's not. So basically, in this conversation that they're having, Marsau asked her thoughts about the retreat and how she took everything. And then after she tells her side, he says, well, I agree with you. I agree that, you know, she kind of set it off on the wrong foot, and that she should have accepted your olive branch with you being vulnerable and telling her where you felt like it started from. And she could have worded it better and it could have went a little better. So then he says that he wants to facilitate a redo of this meeting, of this reconciliation, and try this again. And, you know, Mel's, of course, she's a little apprehensive. She's like, say what now? It's very, I would be apprehensive too, because he wants to do this at Blaque, at their soft opening. Heads up, Martell's invited too. So that's multiple triggers right there. So now we're talking about this conversation with Tisha, and we're talking about Martell being there. It's just, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
You know, so I don't know. I understand her being like, I don't know if this doing it at an event is a good idea. You know, you don't want to mess up the event. So then it kind of goes off on a weird track, because ironically enough, now they kind of get into it a little bit about how the beef actually started, which is the same thing that her and Tisha just did. So.
But their thing was about social media. So they were talking about how it started on social media specifically. And Mel is very active on social media. So I do believe that Marsau was triggered by something Mel said on social media, and that's what made him respond. But Marsau's get back game is on hundreds. So I'm sure that he was saying stuff to get Melody back way worse, or even more so, once he had got together with Martell and they was both double teaming her. So
it's a mess.
Yeah, they go into that little like rabbit hole, but they bring themselves out of it, which really impressed me. And they both bring themselves out of it with humor.
Right.
And you know, Melody was she was joking around a little bit about Blaque not being finished yet, so that was cute. But then also Marsau was like, you know, button yourself up. Like, what are you
trying to entice me?
And it's just like, ain't nobody tell you to come over here, Marsau. He's like, I'm not trying to, you know, go that route with you. And like, it's nice because it's a compliment. Although at the same time, they were coming off of a little bit of a back and forth. But I like it. I appreciate it, because they're adult enough to like, you know what? Let's get over that. Like, it's done and over. And then to end it off with just laughs and jokes and things like that. I really like how Marsau knows how to kind of diffuse situations that could possibly become really, really toxic and negative with humor. He just diffuses it with a joke, and he really makes you laugh, and we could just move forward.
And that's the same thing I said in one of our earlier reviews about how he does that. He's the only one that can do that with Wanda.
Yeah.
He's the only one that can kind of keep her on her toes, because he actually laughs at her and kind of just gives little quick retorts. So he's really good at that.
So now we move into the last scene, where it is Nel Fletcher, which is Chris's wife, and Melody and Martell. So from here, Mel walks in. She doesn't know that Martell is here. Nel Fletcher tells her that she has set up some sort of intervention where she wants to find a resolution for their marriage, and they can just, you know, talk it out. Mel says, talk about what? Talk about how we can move forward separately, amicably, and peacefully. And Nel says, no, we can move forward for a resolution. Okay. Mel said, against her better judgment, she says, okay. She walks up. You look like you're going to a concert. Well, Mel says, well, okay, I can perform. Martell says, I heard. It's just, you started off already left.
So you sit there and you cry to Maurice about how you miss pancakes, her making pancakes in the morning. You miss your family, but as soon as you see her, you just gotta say something smart.
Make it make sense. So then she sits down, and I think Nel says something like, you know, how's everything going? And then Mel says, life is amazing. Martell, there you go.
So
why
you took offense to her life being amazing?
Why can't life be amazing?
Because you're not around?
Because you're not in it? Narcissist? And then from that point, Nel says, do you guys both want this divorce? Do you want to not be married anymore? And Mel says, I don't know.
This moment is kind of shocking for me because in my head, she's over it. She filed a divorce paper. She's ready to go. She done started, according to her, she was dating somebody else. So you would think her answer would be like, no, I don't want to be married to him.
Right.
But she actually says, I don't know, which means there's a second thought in her head, like maybe, maybe not.
The spark may not have been completely out, like Maurice said.
But here go Marcel. Martell.
So then Martell says, Mel over there laughing and smirking. This is not a game. Our children are hurting every day. Because of you. Because of what you did.
Mess. Would you
so
think
now
about
it's not
that?
A game because I want to get a divorce?
Were you think about that when you had a side chick for 5 years?
Was it a game then when you were playing with the side chick?
Were you thinking about how your children was hurting when you bought her a Mercedes?
Yo, that part. Was it a game then?
Which part? When did you?
Now that I want to get a divorce, it's not a game?
Now that I'm happy?
You've been playing with me this whole time and now it's not a game?
Now that I'm at peace?
So now, we get into the breakdown of where it really, really starts to go left to the climax of the situation with that glass breaking. I am going to be looking down a little bit because I really want to make sure that for my notes, I get this specifically right because the wording is very important in how this argument escalated to where it got to. Okay, so Martell says that with the kids, he felt like he is more hands-on than Mel. He feels like it was a big argument when it came down to taking care of Milani and with him wanting Mel to be more of a dominant parent, he was burnt out. He felt like he needed a break. So Mel says, well, I hope you're ready to start all over. Now it went from passive aggressive, from you calling her, from you saying that she's not the dominant parent to now it's aggressive at this point. Martell goes to say, maybe if you did what you were supposed to do, maybe I wouldn't be starting all over. Says it again. Maybe if you did what you were supposed to do, maybe I wouldn't be starting all over. Nel tries to like get in the middle of it a little bit and she says, you know, well, okay, let's calm this down. You know, when did the breakdown really start? Is it because COVID hit? Did that just, you know, heighten things? And Martell says, yeah, when COVID hit, yeah, we definitely checked out. We definitely both checked out.
Meanwhile, you've been cheating for 5 years? What does that have to do with COVID?
So then Martell says, you know, you was disrespecting me, calling me a bunch of B's and words like that, and that's when, you know, it was just going downhill. Mel says, well, you kept disrespecting me, putting me in situations that I do not need to be in, and keep putting me in hurtful places. So that's where the disrespect came from. And
by this, I think she means that in earlier episodes, she said that even during COVID when it was at its peak, he was still stepping out, not coming home at night. So he was with the side chick, God knows who else, putting Mel and the kids in danger of catching COVID. And besides that, something about Martell just tells me he's not using protection every time he's with a side chick.
Well, I mean,
so that's another way he could have potentially put her in danger. And the fact that now the side chick is talking about she wants to write a book. The side chick has gone on lives and, you know, interviews and to the blog, calling Mel all types of names and saying all types of things about her.
Calling her a deadbeat mom.
Right. So it's like now you're putting her in an uncomfortable situation. That woman should never have anything to say about your wife. That's outrageous. That's crazy. So like she said, the disrespect was crazy.
At this point, Nell Fletcher does get into the middle and says, you know, well, you know, there is a such thing called disrespectful cheating. It was on social media. It was in the public eye. But a woman of this caliber, you were disrespecting her on a way that, you know, would be intolerable for anyone to take.
Disrespectful cheating. The cheating in itself is disrespectful.
Right.
So.
I have mixed feelings about disrespectful cheating.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, as far as you cheating in a hotel room versus you cheating in our bed.
Right.
One is more disrespectful. It's still disrespectful regardless, but it's now you're just over the top with it.
Right.
I get that, but we're not just going to be like, well, he should have cheated more respectfully.
There's no such thing as respectful cheating.
Just don't cheat.
Yes. Like that. Yes. So then at that point, Mel says something along the lines of there were other women, there were others. And Martell said, no, it was because I was with this one person and I continue to be with this one person. And that was the issue.
Martell's trying to frame this like he's better for not having, according to him anyway, multiple women and just sticking with one. Isn't that, I'm not that, he said, what did he say? I'm not that guy.
Because I don't want to
I'm just going to have one side piece. I don't need multiple. He's crazy.
He is. Because he really thinks it makes sense.
He really thinks it makes sense.
He is. He's crazy.
It's scary.
It is.
A lot of it.
Yes. So at this point, after they are disagreeing of whether he's been cheating with multiple people or just one person, Martell goes off. He says, stop lying so much. I'm sick of you always lying, you effing victim. He doesn't stop. He says, I really want people to see who she really is. I told you what you weren't doing and you didn't do it. And then I stepped out. Then I'm like, I like this. Then you still disrespected me. You still calling me bees. You're still not being the person that I want you to be. While the other person is satisfying me. Meanwhile, he's screaming this in her face. He's not stopping. Next thing you know, glass hits the floor. They would have had to bring security to take me off of him. You're screaming in my face that this other person is satisfying you. You're screaming in my face that I'm not the person you want me to be. You're screaming in my face that you like it now. Are you crazy? Mm-hmm.
Well, no, because it's your fault. Excuse me? Not only is it your fault, and I liked it. Ooh. I do it again. What? Ooh. Yeah. Like, that's how people end up on an episode on Snap for real.
Yes.
That's how people be. I don't condone the violence. But good Lord, how do you just expect her to keep eating this stuff? This is the part about Martell I don't get. You can go to everyone else. You went to Chris.
Right.
You went to Maurice. You sat at the campfire with the guys. Yeah, I miss calling her my wife. I miss her getting up and making pancakes. I miss us going to church together as a family. But then when you get in front of her, yeah, I cheated. I do it again. I liked it. What you gonna do about it? Oh.
At this point, after Mel throws the glass, Mel is like, you're lying, because if that was the truth, if I was really as bad as you say I was, if I was really all these things that you keep claiming I am, you would have divorced me a long time ago. And Mel has a point. Not only would he divorce you a long time ago, if let's say he didn't want to divorce you a long time ago, once you decided to divorce him, he'll be like, you're doing me a favor.
And you wouldn't still be texting her trying to get her back.
Right. And going to everybody that she knows and anybody that we hear that you still want to be with her. But you keep saying how horrible of a wife she was. And you want
people to see the real her. But you want her.
Well, then, Mel, obviously she's pissed. She's mad that he even got her to that point. But at the same time, she says, this is exactly why. This is exactly why I don't want to have conversations with him. I don't want to sit down and talk to him because I sit down and all he does is continue to trigger me. He's not a friend. He's not a confidant. He's not anything. She ain't checking for him no more.
It's never going to be a mature situation. It's never going to be, let's really sit down, be honest, talk about it, clear the air, and walk away from this with peace. And let it be amicable. He's always going to gaslight her. He's always going to try to say something to trigger her and upset her and get a reaction out of her.
And that little spark that we said was there when she said, I don't know if I want to get a divorce or not.
What'd I say?
Gone.
Done.
Now she knows.
She done stomped it out.
It's over. That she wants to get a divorce now. You made up her mind now. After this conversation,
instead of seeing the I don't know as wait,
hope.
She said she doesn't know if she wants to be married to me. So she actually think that she might still want to be married to me.
Right.
Oh, snap.
That was your
Let
cue.
me be vulnerable. Let's talk about this.
The narcissism didn't allow him to see it. He took the I don't know as
it should have been a yes.
Right. And now you go and turn the whole thing negative. That was your end. She said, I don't know. You ruined it, stupid. So now at this point, Martell is saying, you see? You see? That's how she acts. That's how she acts when she hears the truth. And Chris is just like shaking his head, just listening, letting him just talk crazy. Martell goes into his confessional and he says, dealing with Mel is always a double standard. See, she could do whatever, she could say whatever, but when I decide to speak, it's an issue. Did you decide to speak, or did you literally throw it in her face, smash it in her face, that not only did you cheat, but you liked it and you're not sorry about it? There's a big difference. Chris leaves Martell and Mel is sitting there. She's apologizing. She's like, I'm sorry, but the man wouldn't stop talking. He wouldn't stop talking. He wouldn't stop talking.
Let me say something. I feel like Mel is better than me because I would have been like, you should never put me in this situation in the first place.
Right. She has every right to be upset with them.
Because before the sit down started, in Martell's confessional, he said, yeah, I'm glad that Mel actually came to sit down because I thought when they told her what was going on, she was going to walk away. So let me get this straight. Everyone at this meeting knew that this was happening except for Mel. And y'all think that's okay? Nobody called. You didn't even know that he had a baby. Mm-hmm. You didn't confirm anything with her. You didn't call her up to see how she was feeling about it. Because you could have called her up. Hey, Mel, what's up? Yeah, girl, I'm so sorry what's happening. You don't think there's any chance of reconciliation? She would have told you because she has such respect for you and you guys are her friends.
Right.
How she felt, you would have known where to gauge it, how it was going to go. And then you could have went from there and you should have told her, well, let us facilitate a meeting for you. No, you want to sneak attack and surprise her. You don't do that to people. They're going through a divorce. Like, you don't sneak attack and surprise her with her ex-husband that cheated on her. I mean, with her future ex-husband that cheated on her.
Right.
That's not right.
I really feel like part of the reason why they didn't just like kind of prep her for this meeting is because Chris really wanted to come out with a resolve because the 47 acres is in jeopardy at this point. He found out that the divorce is holding up the 47 acres and that he may have to pull out of the deal. And I feel like Chris was like, yo, now my finances are involved. So I need them to resolve this divorce for my pockets at this point too. So this really didn't come from as genuine as a place as it was really presented to be.
We've seen Martell sit down with you in a scene and tell you that he filed for full custody and everything that he did and how he cheated and in detail.
Yes.
So yeah, I think you're 100% right.
Yeah, definitely. Some selfish intentions involved.
Definitely.
So then we end off the scene with Mel in her confessional, and she just says, Martell thinks this is a movie. Martell must think that at the end of this movie, there's going to be a happy ending. But she's sorry to report, she ain't gonna have no happy ending for him this time. And I'm with her on that because at this point, he's done too much. He said too much. There's no more chances. It's over, completely over, and we're done.
Any chance you could have just gave him any sign of hope, he just constantly just tosses it in the trash and lights it on fire.
Yep.
And then blows the ashes into the ocean.
That part. So that's it. That's our recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 2, Episode 18. If you got to this part at the end of the video, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking with us. Let us know how you feel in the comments. Let us know if you agree. Let us know if you disagree. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Sugar and Spice 88.
Thank you guys for watching. See you next week.
Good morning.
Good energy.
Today we gon' spread
Good energy.
Today we gon' share
Good energy.
I go to work.
Today gon' be a great day.
Good
Wake
energy.
up, thank God, drink water, meditate.
Good
First
energy.
5 minutes will dictate your whole day.
Good
All
energy.
about that positivity and raising up your frequency.
Good
If you